Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brandon Davis. I'm the founder of the Rags to Riches community. I am highly unqualified to give you any advice about anything. I barely graduated high school. Do not like or comment on any of my videos, and please do not subscribe. Let's get to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Brandon with the Rags to Riches community. In fact, I am the CEO. I am the founder and I am the Supreme Ayatollah. We've got a doozy for you here today, folks. We got a doozy. So if you're the type of ADD dumbass who can't stick to one thing for too long, you might have to come back to this about 3 times. In fact, if you don't want to really frustrate yourself, you might just want to click off and not come back at all at this point. I think we have some stuff you might want to hear, though. I think we've uncovered some things. So let's get to socials first, and then we'll get into the material. Socials. This is from iWaves 8 days ago, 5 subscribers. Look, you hardly got any subscribers. That email was most likely response to you applying for a job, and it looks like they saw through your BS. What confidence have you provided to any of your viewers that you are the saint of saints? Get a real job, Joe. Stop duping people. Now, this is in response to that lovely SubX is a scam video that I did a while back. I responded, hello, if you can't read the email, just close your eyes and listen to me read it for you. Dom Baker, 4 days ago, at Rags to Riches. You need to learn more about the crypto space before posting videos like this. You lack the knowledge and experiences. Stick to shilling your Pulsechain coin. Also, Don Baker, Rags to Riches. How did Pulsepad do after it was released to the public for sale? Down over 50%. You were shilling just like everyone else, but have gone one step further and decided to badmouth the competition. When you do that, be prepared to be called out. Thank you, Dom. I wish you'd actually watched the video because you would have discovered this. Dom, I literally made a video about Pulsepad warning everybody, try a different argument, and realize that Pulsepad stole Pulsechain's marketing prowess to launch a coin on a completely different chain. You're embarrassing yourself at this point. So I took a step back and I thought, man, he really is responding to a lot of my stuff on this video. What could it be? Let me do a quick search real quick. Dom Baker. Oh. Rags to Riches. Dom, I remember seeing your pseudonym all over the internet when researching SubX. You and King Jack are painted all over the internet pumping your project. And yes, I said your, insinuating that they were probably part of the project. Why not just use your real names? You doxed yourselves, right? Because you have to create a false narrative. It's all lies, man. I hate it. So then I just kind of mosey on over to one of the first search results. Is this coin a scam.com? And look at that. When I searched for SubX, there's Dom. What were the odds? That was on January 17th, 2022. Look at that. It's incredible. It's incredible. And you guys can read it. You can go to isthiscoinascam.com, put in SubX Financial. And at the very end, he says, once the current bear market is over, SubX will do very, very well. Good. Good for you, Dom. Dom Baker. Don't know who Ben is, but this is my real name. So I've been corresponding with somebody named Ben from SubX. And I think this might be him. It might be him. I don't need to hide behind a pair of sunglasses. Several people have flagged this video. You should consider that there are legal implications of accusing a legitimate business of being a scam. Okay, that makes sense. Everything about your company's a lie. It's all fake. Your social's a front. Everything. You're misleading thousands of people. There are people feeding families, which is fine, but the people who run the show aren't building a project based on trust. And it's wrong and disgusting. And here's a question. If you weren't on the team, why would you be threatening legal action towards me? Question is, why will Pulsechain potentially go nuclear? Why is this a perfect storm for Pulsechain? Have you guys been watching the SEC versus Ripple case? Most of you haven't, because most of you are Hex maxis and Pulsechain maxis, and it's just tunnel vision. And I'm just calling it how I see it. I see it all the time. And you've got really no need to look at anything else, right? Well, considering that crypto at large is still in its infancy, it's important that we take a look to current cases to get a better understanding of the direction of legal action and precedent moving forward, right? So just to give you a little bit of background history, on December 22nd, 2020, the SEC filed a lawsuit against Ripple Labs and two of its executives. The claim is that they traded $1.3 billion in their cryptocurrency, XRP, as a security without registering it with the SEC. The SEC claimed that XRP is classifiable as a security because it was used to finance Ripple's platform, which facilitates money transfers for retailers. In the process, the platform's executives were also enriched with the sales of XRP. They raised money to build XRP. So the next question is, I'm talking about securities, but what is a security? You guys hear that all the time. How is a security defined? Well, traditionally speaking, the SEC applies the Howey test, and when determining whether a virtual currency counts as a security. The Howey test is based on a Supreme Court ruling on the SEC versus W.J. Howey in 1946. The test is that if an asset is sold with the expectation of profits derived from the other party's efforts, then it counts as a security. As the SEC currently defines XRP in their lawsuit, it would pass the Howey test. And you don't want to pass the Howey test, because if you pass the Howey test, you're going to be labeled as a security. So what are the 4 questions that we asked about this, right? The security is basically a transaction. So it's got to check all of 4 of these boxes to be a security. The first one is there has to be an investment of money. So if you're transacting and you're purchasing something, whatever the case may be, it has to be an investment of money. Number 2, there has to be an expectation of profits. So it has to check that box and that box. Number 3, it has to belong in a common enterprise. So essentially the company or the group and the users will rise and fall together. That's kind of like a common enterprise. And the third thing is this transaction benefits from the work of third-party promoters as well. So those four tidbits are what constitutes a security in the SEC's eyes. Now, it's not just those 4 questions. There's actually there's a sub list of about 30 others, but those are the primary things that they use. Okay, they'll default back to the other ones if they can't make a decision. So if you go to nickgrossman.xyz, you're going to find some really cool info. It's a chart basically that he created. So let's take those 4 questions. Let's take is it investment of money? Okay. If you take out that, if you take out an investment of money, say you're trying to purchase something and it's not an investment. So what does that transaction become at that point? Well, it's kind of like a gift, right? Because you're not putting money into it. You're getting something of value at no cost, and it's kind of like a gift. You're gifted. So that would make you okay in the SEC's eyes as not being a security. What's the other part? Expectations of profits. So what if you pull out the expectation of profits, that leg of the table? Well, then at that point, if there's no expectation of profits, then it's just a regular product. It's not a security, just a regular product. The third one is, does it come from a common enterprise? Okay, does it come from a common enterprise? Are there people that are rising and falling together based on development, etc.? If you take that out and it's not in a common enterprise, essentially that transaction, whatever you purchased, kind of becomes like a collectible, right? Because you're not worried about anything else. The market is what makes it appreciate. It's not going to be from the work of others. And then the fourth and final one, is this from the efforts of a promoter or a third party? If it's not, then it kind of just becomes a commodity. If it checks all the other boxes, but you take that part out, then it's just a commodity. Okay, there's no efforts or no promotion of third party. It is what it is. The market determines what's going on. So do you guys remember my previous statement? Ripple and other parties have since countered with claims that the SEC is biased in its assessment. Therein lies the key. And we're going to start getting on track now, okay? What exactly do we mean by biased in assessment? What's Ripple talking about? Why are they mad at the SEC? Ripple and other parties have since countered with claims that the SEC is biased in its assessment. Also, XRP rules, and this is argues, this is kind of strange as well. The SEC didn't issue an injunction on XRP. What? In this case, you might be wondering what an injunction is. An injunction is essentially a legal restraining order to prohibit XRP or its founders from trading their XRP during the investigation, right? There's charges out against them right now. And that's pretty standard. How come the SEC didn't do that? That's weird. Look at the CTO of Ripple, Jed McCaleb. He sold over $2 billion worth of Ripple in 2021. And Ripple Labs has sold about 800 million to about 1 billion worth of Ripple. Is that not insanity? Do you want your CTO doing that? Do you want your founder doing that? Do you want the company that represents you doing that? Ugh. In particular, Ripple has pointed to some of the associations that members of the SEC have had with other crypto platforms, especially Ethereum. Here we go. It's getting good now. While there's still little evidence of these ties, the fact that the commission gave Ethereum a pass on securities regulations while attacking XRP does appear suspect. This is especially so since Ethereum initially funded its operations with an ICO. Whoa, an ICO? Well, what's that mean? This would absolutely mean that it should be registered as a security, right? The SEC has claimed that Ethereum currently operates in a decentralized manner, which disqualifies it from security regulation. But if that's the case, Ripple questions why XRP is being attacked. It's kind of getting fun here. Ripple and other parties have since countered with claims that the SEC is biased in its assessments. Watch this video. Here's the key. Watch this. And I'm going to say this too. This is Gary Gensler. He's the head guy at the SEC right now. And he has been teaching blockchain technology for the past 10 years at MIT. So he has a very, very good understanding of DeFi. He has a very, very good understanding of how Bitcoin and first gen, second gen, third gen crypto projects. Look what he says about Ethereum in one of his lectures previously. Now, he's the head guy now. This video is from the past.
Ethereum, when it was first promoted in 2014, I believe, passed this test. And the word pass means that you are a security. Just a little vocabulary thing. You want to fail the Howey test, by the way. Like if you are a venture capitalist you don't want to be regulated, you want to fail this test. But to pass the Howey test, Ethereum in 2014 exchanged Bitcoin for ETH. There was an investment in a common enterprise at that point in time, a 20 or 21-year-old Vitalik Buterin running a Ethereum foundation out of Switzerland. It was one group. An expectation of profits. They had no functioning network. It was just an idea and a white paper, a really good idea, and good faith actors. And it was reliant on whether Vitalik and his team of coders were going to stand this project up. I mean, to me, I don't even think there's much doubt what this was in 2014 when they raised the $18 million. Ethereum.
Dude, did you hear that? This was pre-SEC Gary Gensler. This was Gary Gensler lecturing a classroom at MIT probably. He made the entire case that Ethereum is in fact a security. He even went question by question with the Howey test and explained in detail why Ethereum was a security. If that doesn't convince you, what about this Senate hearing earlier this year?
Have come to a view that they should be registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission is one of their 4 offerings, one of the 4 that they do. Ethereum, I believe there's a strong case, a strong legal case. It was a security, it was an investment contract in 2014 when it was offered, similar to all other initial coin offerings. They were careful, they were clever, but they still, I think, were a duck and waddles and quacks like a duck, and they passed the Howey test.
So we now know that Gensler has had a prolonged love affair with Ethereum. On multiple occasions, he's outlined that Ether passed the Howey test in 2014 after accepting Bitcoin as a pre-sale for their ICO. The burning question here is, are there any other red flags out there that regulation could be coming for Ethereum? Well, XRP is now dragging Ethereum into the mix. XRP is explaining to the SEC that there is no difference between Ether and XRP. It's forcing the SEC to come forward with all communications and all justifications for alleging XRP a security and not Ether. In fact, statements have been made in the past by former SEC Chairman Hinman that are being corrected in official documents via affidavits about Ethereum's status as a non-security. The revisions indicate that Ethereum's non-security status was only an opinion of the former chairman and not the official position of the SEC. So why would the SEC go back in time and take a look at what he said on official documents and then make an affidavit that basically makes him sign and say, hey, these were my opinions at the time. These weren't the SEC's opinions at the time. Why are they doing that? Well, thinking about it, it's so they have a strong legal foundation to work upon when they charge Ether as a security. That's why that is. They're laying the groundwork right now. This is from CoinCoo.com. Ethereum has long been on the radar since Ripple was sued by the SEC, and many continue to wonder why Ethereum should get a free token from the SEC while Ripple goes to court. Much of the controversy stems from William Hinman, the SEC's former director of corporate finance, who stated in his famous speech that ETH is no longer a security. During a legal battle, the SEC avoided arguing about it. They argued that this was only Hinman's opinion and not that of the SEC. This is one of the reasons why key players, including attorney John Deaton, have stated that the question of whether Ether is really not considered a security by the SEC has yet to be answered. Others argue that if the SEC saw XRP as a security, it would offer the same treatment for Ethereum as well. The main reason is that the committee failed to make an important distinction between the performance of Ether and that of XRP in terms of the application of federal securities laws. This lack of clarity makes Ether a potential SEC target, and things will happen as soon as it gets closer to its plan of becoming an evidence of stake or a proof of stake network. So I think right now, being teed up by the SEC, they see Ethereum as the mostly unimpeded ruler of DeFi, and thus, they're going to target ETH right after XRP. What would be the implications of ETH being investigated? Would they issue an injunction? Would centralized exchanges freeze transactions? Pulsechain would be there easily to pick up the pieces. The entire system state of ETH is copied over. Projects, coin amounts, liquidity. Everything will be there for projects to continue business as usual. Can you imagine the absolute explosion of Pulsechain as people found out about Pulsechain? Regulatory matters come slowly, and even if Pulsechain was to be targeted somehow, it would be difficult to prove that the transaction to get involved with Pulsechain was that of an investment, i.e. sacrifice with no expectation of the work of others. Interesting question here. Is ETH now delaying the rollout of ETH 2.0 purposefully because they know the investigation is coming? Do you think they're stalling? Do you think they're holding out? Maybe they screwed up a couple years ago, 2018, when they were going to roll this out, 2019-20, but now It's a little bit of a different story. Why are they continuing to hold out longer and longer and longer? Do you think Vitalik is talking to investigators? Why does it seem that these projects are completely indifferent to regulation? Why are all these blockchains just... Why do we have so many different blockchains spouting up everywhere? And it just seems like there is no regard for the regulatory envelope at all. Very interesting. Do these people know something that we don't know? And how are they going to attack DeFi? How is the SEC going to attack DeFi? Well, I think I found that out too. Let's take a look.
And on stable coins, I think that, as we said in this joint report with other agencies, it's really important, I think, as a principle, that they're backed one-to-one, that they really have the backing, that's fully transparent to the various appropriate regulators. If it's like a bank account, then of course, other regulators take leadership. And thirdly, that it's inside the, I'll call it the anti-money laundering and tax compliance perimeter, but backed one-to-one, fully reserved inside the public policy perimeter. Those are.
So there's their in. They can use stable coins. They can use stable coins to bring down DeFi. Why were stable coins created in the first place? Well, stable coins had a big part in allowing the markets to trade 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's because you could lock in your value while you were sleeping, right? You can move your investment portfolio to stable coins. This is back in 2014. So you've seen the rise of stable coins in DeFi as a major catalyst for the growth that we've seen. So as you're going to see with this next video with Elizabeth Warren, you can tell that they're starting to target stables. 80% of transaction volume, it's estimated, it has to do with stable coins and DeFi. So let's see what she has to say.
Right, but let me go there. We know that stable coins are not always stable. In fact, it's worse than that. In troubled economic times, people are most likely to cash out of risky financial products and move into real dollars. Stable coins will take a nosedive precisely when people most need stability. And that run on the bank mentality could ultimately crash our whole economy. But there's another piece of the risk here, and you've headed in that direction, Professor Allen. DeFi is the most dangerous part of the crypto world. This is where the regulation is effectively absent, and no surprise, it's where the scammers and the cheats and the swindlers mix among part-time investors and first-time crypto traders. Shoot, in DeFi, someone can't even tell if they're dealing with a terrorist. Stablecoins provide the lifeblood of the DeFi ecosystem. In DeFi, people need stablecoins to trade between different coins, to trade derivatives, to lend and borrow money, all outside the regulated banking system. Without stablecoins, DeFi comes to a halt.
Now, can I make a little statement here? I just want to point out that terrorism existed way before DeFi. Terrorists, bad actors, they find ways to circumvent the regulatory systems and the laws and the oversight and the overwatch and the surveillance. They're going to do that. So you stopping DeFi is not going to slow down terrorism. You stopping DeFi is not going to slow down drug cartels. It doesn't matter. Obviously, right now, they're just trying to prime the public to bring the hammer down on DeFi, and I don't think it's going to work. Now, here's the thing, folks. You guys want to talk about serious price appreciation? You want to talk about 10,000x? I would throw that out the window. I would throw 10,000x out the window. We're talking 20,000x. We're talking bigger numbers here. If the SEC puts Ethereum under investigation, this could be the absolute perfect storm for Pulsechain. The best setup ever. Okay? And especially considering that the market has been down for 6 or 8 months now. 6 months, 7 months. If the market continues to go down, we find a bottom, and then we push forward at the same time, the SEC targets Ethereum. Woo! We're talking some serious stuff. If you guys have stuck around this far, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry you had to hear me talk this entire time, but this is important stuff in here. We need to talk about it. If you guys liked the video, please do not comment. Please do not subscribe. And please do not let anybody know that you liked this video. My name is Brandon, and I'm out.